each time you have a new technology that comes, it comes with a lot of hype. And actually, that's the case with also with AI. I consider it to be a general purpose technology in the same way electricity was a general purpose technology at the end of the 19th century and the start of the 20th century. Um, it was the case for the internet in the 90s and the early 2000s. Now we have AI. A lot of hype, a lot of excitement, but you also have something that is called the adoption cycle. And that's pretty exciting because it's pretty much difficult, especially when you have to build a business around it or a business that is using AI as a competitive advantage or it's all based on AI. You need to kind of understand the adoption curve or the adoption cycle or the adoption rate or how people will use it. It's and basically it's so simple, but it's still highly difficult to predict because you see it's not because you have it's not because technology have a specific capability right away that this means that everyone will use it, all the businesses will use it, and it's going to be everywhere suddenly. That's actually not the case. And even if you have millions and millions of users, doesn't mean they use it effectively and doesn't mean it's part of the economy. That's something that needs to be taken into account. So we need to be very careful, understanding that, we have AI brings us amazing capabilities. That doesn't mean that is adopted everywhere and we are in the AI based economy, because a lot of people that trying to sell you something will say that we are in the AI based economy right now and everything is running on AI, which is practically not the case. In reality, only a small fraction of the economy is optimized and is using AI on certain level. And certain individuals are using AI for a lot of things. That doesn't mean that AI is widely adopted. So we need to be careful about that. And in this stream, I want to share one of the graph that I made that I'm using for my specific areas of concern. And I just put myself aside here. Let's bring this graph. And actually, it shows the adoption of office tools, basically, or office general tools for the service sector. Those graphs, actually, I made it for myself to be able to kind of have an idea of where the deflection point will happen and where it will when it will be adopted. Now you need to be careful, and probably you don't see it, so I'll make it a little bit bigger. Let's just zoom this thing out, and you'll see only the graph itself. So what it shows is that obviously in blue you have the legacy tools. This is everything: Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all those Microsoft Office documents or Google workplace document, whatever you use it doesn't really matter. How many users are using it. And when it comes to the legacy, I mean, in 2025 it's a little bit more than 2.5 billion people are using it, and it's kind of stable, and it will be stable for many years. Now in orange you have the AI generated documents, slides, presentation slides, or basically sheets or whatever it is for accounting or whatever it's using. All of that is office generated tool and generated with AI. So if we look at the graph today in 2025, we have about 500 million users. Now you need to be very careful with that number, 500 millions. This means how many people globally I probably generating AI generated docs, slides, or accounting sheets. That said, this is kind of approximation based on multiple factors, but usually it's a very optimistic one. I will say probably is the half. Probably we have 200 million or 100 million users that pretty much using AI generated whatever document, slides, or Excel sheet, or whatever it is. But we need to be very careful about this number, because what you see on the orange line, the adoption curve that will happen by 2030. This means by 2030 we'll have more people that are using AI generated tools than legacy tools like Microsoft Office. That said, it could happen later, it could happen a bit sooner, but I think it could happen later. It will probably take a little bit more, couple of more years after 2030, maybe in 2035, 2034, we'll have this switch where you will have the full adoption of AI generated documents, slides, and accounting sheets for the AI, for the service sector. And that's where actually the service sector itself will basically flip from being a internet-based, economy. Will have more of a AI-based economy, because it will be basically based on AI agents that will generate anything that needs to be generated, and we as people, we're going to act as basically as supervisors for those AIs, basically trying to instruct them, guide them, and make sure that they produce whatever needs to be produced. Whatever it's content, whatever it's presentations, whatever it's accounting documents or accounting operations that we're using, like traditional softwares or Excel spreadsheets right now. So, what you see obviously on the graph, again, it's a very optimistic scenario of the adoption curve. I don't think, based on my revised numbers, because when I did this graph, I did a year ago, I don't think we have 500 millions of users that are generating anything from documents to presentation slides to spreadsheets with AI. I think some of them are using some generating tools, like documents, or maybe on some level presentations that then they modify, but I don't think it's 100%. I think those numbers are overflated. I think it's more like 100 millions globally that use certain AI tools to generate some portions of those documents and those legacy documents. We're still in an internet-based economy. We're not right now in a what called a AI-based economy, unfortunately, because we see only the first generations of AI agents. We're still at its infancy, basically. But it's really interesting as a graph. Probably next time I will revise that graph, and you'll see the deflection point not happen in 2029, 2030, but somewhere around 2034, because very often the adoptions of new technologies, especially with new technologies that require us to change our way of doing things, to change our methods, to change the operations, takes more time. That's usually the case. Look at the internet. I mean, we have it since the early 1990s. Obviously, we didn't have the fast internet, the high-speed internet, but there's a lot. Even in the 1990s, internet gave us a lot of capabilities, and it still took us more than 20-25 years to get at a point where all of the economy is basically is driven on internet and is rolling on internet basically, and it's internet driven economy that we have right now. So we need to take account when we take any business decision, and especially even career decision. I mean, uh, people right now, I kind of deciding to becoming prompt engineers, um, not knowing that at this point, even today, what's really funny is that we have a surplus of prompt engineers on the market, which is funny because um, eventually you will need people that will guide those AI agents, and those people, whatever it's called, prompt engineer, or AI orchestrator, or AI guiding, whatever it is. The title doesn't really matter. What matters is that you will need people that will guide AIs, that will understand AI, will understand how to make sure that AI produce whatever needs to be produced. Putting those guardrails around AI, and yeah, those people will be pretty much in demand. In the same way that AI designers, or AI scenario designers, all those people that are working in user experience will be highly needed, because AI will do the heavy lifting, but you still need to have this human intuition, this customer understanding, and all of those things to make specific decisions. And also, uh, you need to have somebody who's responsible for whatever service is offered. And you have to understand that when AI agents are everywhere, it becomes kind of a commodity. I mean, it doesn't really matter. That's something funny. That's one thing that is important, and probably I will do the whole video around it, especially around sales and marketing. When AI tools are everywhere, where AI agents are everywhere, and they all do sales and marketing, people will gravitate toward somehow something genuine, something that could provide some distinctions from AI. And those distinctions are usually provided by people. So that's it for today. So if you have any questions, comments, please leave them in the comment section. Put some like, and subscribe also. Don't forget about it. And I will see you in the next one.